Long day lay me low.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? I got the triple berry. They make a marshmallow mandarin one that's delicious. What's going on, everybody? Comics and Conversations. Welcome. It's been a bit. We have a show today. Before we start the show today, let's bring in our amazingly lovely co-host, Angela Curry. What's going on, Angela?
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm super. How are you?
Is this an aspartame-free stream or what?
Never an aspartame free stream. How dare you? We're made of aspartame here at Unhinged Entertainment.
Fresh.
Aspartame. That's right. Aspartame keeps you young, keeps you fresh, keeps you lively. Drink aspartame. Sponsored by aspartame.
Oh my gosh.
One day we will be.
Wow. Anyway, I got it over.
You got
like my new look?
Yeah, I like that. You're flying high. Look at you.
It's a hummingbird.
You're a bird. You can call me a bird if he wants to.
It's for my pops because he liked the birds.
Nice. No, it's a beautiful bird, and it fits lovely right in the middle there. Yeah.
It's like meant to be there.
It's supposed to be there. Yeah. So you transmorphed from a butterfly into a bird. The catalyst, the cocoon, took its form and catalyst. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your mitosis split, and you formed into a hummingbird. It says Comics and Conversations with Jesse Blaze Snyder. I don't know if he forgot.
But you guys fell for it because he's not here yet.
He's not here. He was scheduled. He may still pop in. Now, granted, where he lives, maybe there's a massive thunderstorm. I have no idea what's going on. It's raining right now.
And they don't happen here, so it's possible.
It's possible. It's raining right now here.
We had a thunderstorm yesterday. I was so crazy. We do not get those, and so it happened. I was so happy.
Nice. Yeah. No, yeah. We had a couple storms last night. Yeah. Oh, look. Yeah, we got a chat. We'll get to him. But anyway, no. We'll get to the chat. Who cares about the weather? Yeah. Citizen Ronan's here. What's up, Citizen? Let's say hi to the people in the chat that showed up for a fake out.
Here is first, as always.
What's up, dude?
First in our hearts and first in the chat.
As always.
Any chat.
Yep.
Our Luniverse. Hail.
What's up, Luniverse? What's going on?
And then as we talked about, Mr. Citizen, Ronan.
The Ronans. Like
and we're not Cranberry Langers.
Cranberry Langers.
Yes, man.
That might be our victim.
And then
that is our victim. What does he say?
Henry Bemis. Hail, brother. Hummingbirds like to dive bomb on my head. I always think I'm being attacked by a giant bug. But they're so cute. I'd rather be dive bombed by a hummingbird than a bat, which I did have it happen when I was in Ohio for a bit. That's scary.
No worries. He just messaged me. He'll be on. Go ahead. And who else is here?
Oh, Jolly Green. Sorry, I thought you were
anyone
interrupt.
No, yeah, no, dead air. No, scary dead air.
Jolly Green sauce. Nonsense. We fooled you. We got you. Come here, Jolly Green. He's out there.
Nah, he just messaged me. He's coming.
I know, I'm being silly. Waiting in anticipation. What up, Peter Orchard? Hey,
oh, Orchard, what's going on, man?
Yeah, we gotta hop and chat.
Yeah, well, people are here to see Jesse.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Well, we did have a backup plan. I was gonna draw. I could show you what I was gonna keep working on the Frog G2 cover.
Ooh, yay.
It's what it looks like so far. With the line work only, I still got a lot to go. So that's the Frog G2 cover right there. Yep. So far, if I draw something better, we're gonna use it. But
I just realized not Citizen Ron, Henry, they probably dive bomb you because they think you're sweet.
He's sweet. He is sweet. And
Scarlet Fever's here. Hail
Scarlet Fever. What's going on? Subscribe to Scarlet Fever, everybody. We also got in the supplemental. So that is in. I bagged and boarded all of them last night. So fulfillment is going to be starting tonight for the rest of those. I don't know how many I'll get out, but we're going to get out whatever we can. What's that?
I want all of them. I want all of mine. I want all of it.
You want all of them? I don't think you backed that many of them.
I backed every cover because I couldn't pick, and then
you backed every cover, but you didn't back all of the books. You're not getting every. No, you didn't. I can't send you all.
I see what you're doing. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of mad people if you sent me all the books.
Yeah. So, but this came out really cool.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I love it. I love that art.
Ink spots, line art, layouts, I should say, and I inked over top of it. And I hear a boop. Woo! We have the we have a does not connected. Most connecto.
Come back.
Device not connected. That's okay. We can still keep going.
Come, Mark.
Because I can't get him.
Did I message him and let him know that it's not connected?
I'm pretty sure he knows.
Oh, he knows.
I would think he would know if it'd be StreamYard. It's
new to me.
No, I mean I've seen. I mean, you could message him if you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
Rock's in the house.
Yo, what's up, LaRock? Good to see you. Good to see you, Matt. Yeah, so we'll be sending out the supplemental. Jesse, I can't get you in because your device isn't connected. Take your time. No worries.
Hey, bud. Shelby's here.
Shelby. Shabubi, American Discord.
Yes,
what's that?
No, they called his old name the Sharubi Robertson or something.
Shabubi?
Well, that works too.
Shelby Robertson? That's what hockey calls him. Hockey calls him Shelby Robertson because he can never remember his name.
Yeah, I call him Shelby Roberts. I call him Shelby Robinson.
Yeah, I can't get Jesse in.
To Aaron Lepresti. Can you have Shelby Robinson on sometime? He's a great artist.
Yeah, I'd like to get Aaron on, but he's avoiding me like the plague.
I'm working on it.
He's avoiding me. He's scared of me.
He said he'll try to be in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool.
So something's happening.
Yeah, I mean, like I told him we'll vamp until he can get here.
We can let it go.
Well, that's the thing. We don't have a set time. Like I like the hour format for replayabilities, but if it goes less, it goes less. You know what? Let me go do something. I'm gonna be here, but I'm gonna go do something. Turn that on.
You're me alone?
No, I'm right here. I'm gonna stand.
I have separation anxiety.
Oh, that's from Venom. Separation anxiety. It's also a song by Faith.
Slappy.
Yeah, Shelby has I don't know if he still has any more red winners, so go on American Discord.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't know how to spell.
That website. I got those too. I got a sucker. He sent me a sucker with a scorpion in it.
Yeah.
Partake because I don't know if it will bite me.
Yeah, don't eat it.
It might sting my face.
Man, we don't want that to happen. See, I was right here.
Yeah,
no, I don't know if he has any. I got one of the new red winners, which I should know of a while back, and it set me back, and now I'm negative in my bank account. Thanks, Shelby.
Yeah, I will eat it. It looks mystery flavor. It's like clear. I don't know what it's.
Don't eat it. There's a scorpion in it.
I think I got it from like a gas station.
It's a party favor, though. You're not supposed to eat that.
I think it came from a gas station.
Yeah, it came from a gas station.
Bathroom. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Now I don't want to eat it. That's gross.
Don't eat that.
Anyway, you should have sent me one to keep and one to eat so that at least I could have it and say, oh, look, I got this.
Yeah, and also, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, check out Jesse on Twitter. Also, I have his Spotify. He's got a podcast, so I have his Spotify in the description also. So check him out.
Oh, that's something between them. Miromi's here.
What's up, Miromi?
3 more days. He's oh shoot, what happened?
That's Haldir.
The chat is flying. Meromi. He changed his name to Meromi, so he's got 3 more days with that. So
I thought his name was Maromi.
He changed the spelling of it for some reason, and he can't change it back. Like
see, that's fine though. Angela, I'm blind. I can't see how he spells it.
Oh, I know, you're good. When I was
Yeah.
K-10, I couldn't change it for like a month. It was like prison.
As long as the icons are the same, that's all I care about. Don't change those people. It throws Jason off, and he gets mad.
Yeah, I get yelled at for having my A, but I'm those visually impaired.
Don't ever move. Stop moving. Don't move. Don't do that. You just blew everybody's ear holes out. Now they can't hear out of their ear holes.
Did I move?
You moved.
I just moved a butt cheek.
Well, their butt cheek moved the whole microphone.
I don't know what I did. I'm just kidding. I really didn't move far.
Well, everyone now is deaf. I hope you're happy.
I'm so sorry.
Ruined the stream. Let's just end it. I'm closing down the channel, nuking the whole system.
So, like, I don't have really good, like, microphone. One day I'll get a good microphone. Oh, go on.
No, I occasionally buy
egg salad sandwiches from gas stations, and he's not. Oh, he's not proud of it. Sorry, I didn't want to share it everyone something you're not proud of.
Well, okay, yeah, but if he didn't want you to share it, he wouldn't have wrote it in the chat. That's his fault.
True point.
You're here to highlight and bring up the chat, and like that is your role as co-host. So
yeah,
that's his fault for saying it.
Sounds like an avalanche. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I did.
Yeah, told you. Everyone now they're just ruined.
And I'm gonna go back and listen.
I'm gonna end the whole stream, nuke the channel. That's it. Game over.
Set it on fire.
Mm-hmm. Burn it down.
So that Deadpool movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
It was a really fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it again.
I saw it twice already in the theater. I liked it a lot. We're not going to spoil it, but I still say, though, it is a tad too long. They could have trimmed a little fat, but...
Really?
What?
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to... But you've seen it more than once. I've only seen it once. So.
Well, 2 times is more than 1 time. That's correct.
Lunaverse, Deadpool, Wolverine.
Yeah, Deadpool, Wolverine. Well, I think it's Wolverine, Deadpool. Either which way. But, it's fun. It's violent. It's funny. It's vulgar. It's a Deadpool movie. Like, don't...
It's a pleasure for me.
I tell everybody that goes see it, don't expect plot. It's a Deadpool movie. And then...
Yeah, for sure. See, I kind of... The whole, like, that core thing where they're trying with the whole, like, multiverse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd get a little confused, but I mean, I kind of understood what was going on.
Yeah, it's fun. You don't need to see Loki to understand like the time agency and all that crap.
No spoilers.
Ah, there he is.
Hey.
There's our victim. All right, let's bring on the man of the minute.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? You did it.
I did it. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
I'm on painkillers from getting a couple teeth extracted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was rough. It took like 2 weeks of appointments to get the one tooth out because I had like trauma in the roots and stuff. So I've been a little out of it. So forgive me.
No, you're all good. Wisdom teeth?
I was having connection problems, but I think I got it now. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is it your wisdom teeth that you had pulled?
No, I take care of your teeth, kids.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Teeth pulled, and it's like, it's
well, funny enough, the teeth are connected to the heart. It's the weirdest thing. Like, so you want to take care of your teeth and your gums because it can lead to heart problems if you don't.
I swear I had postpartum depression from getting the teeth pulled each time.
Wow.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I had wisdom teeth.
Part of me. It was very weird. Yeah, I got the wisdom teeth thing. My wisdom teeth were crowding my other teeth because I had braces, and when they put your braces together, they don't always think about how those wisdom teeth are going to be coming in or whatever in the future.
Mm-hmm.
They crowded all my teeth together in the front, and I was like told to get my wisdom teeth taken out, but also advised against it because my roots were high in my sinuses, and I had nerves that, like, they said I could get facial paralysis. I was like, what?
Oh.
I put it off for like 15 years, and all of that like compression forward. When I got the wisdom teeth taken out, I had infections in my face for a while. and then
Whoa.
my other teeth that had been like, I had some bad dentistry that got like food traps and stuff, and like these compressed teeth or whatever. It just like really rotted like my roots for a couple of my teeth, and having to get them taken out, like they were fused to the bone from all the pressure of 15
No.
years of like pressure. So it was like, it was crazy. It was 3 hours. My first appointment was 2 hours, and they took out half the tooth. And then my second appointment, and you're awake. I'm just awake
Mhm.
as and my tooth was just like falling apart, but they had to like just get like a piece at a time. And
Oh my gosh.
3 hours for the last bit, and like getting it off my phone and stuff. But it explained too why I was having such crazy pain. Like, cause I was scared that I had a cavity in every tooth in my mouth. My whole mouth hurt. But now I understand my root was attached to my bone. So the ones that hurt, like I really felt it in my face.
Mhm.
Mm.
Was no
Oh
fun.
my gosh.
Oh
It's
no.
like, I haven't been able to think straight. It's like it sucks. I'm like 2 weeks delayed on fucking for a future, because I'm just like, I'm a one man company. So when one man's taken out, your
Yeah.
company's out for 2 weeks. It's like,
Okay, tell us about it. That's
Yeah.
Ethan knows.
Yeah, yeah, because I do. Well, I mean, I have a couple that I've fulfilled already, but it's me and mother, shipping out everything. So if I'm laid out, like forget about it. Yeah, I know how it goes. Like, and that's what crowdfunding is. A lot of the time, it's a one man show. Like you got to do everything.
you're the
So
only one who knows most of the time. So even like when you can get help, it has to be like the stars align,
mhm.
because you have to coordinate the help. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's like you really can't like tell them, you really fly by the seat of your pants, to so many degrees, because it is such a wonky thing. Like the money comes in, and then you're like, okay, I got to pay back myself for the money that I just laid out for advertising on Google or whatever, and then I got to pay the percentage to Murphy, who's helping us promote and set up our Shopify and all these things, right? And I pay myself back for paying Murphy to set up our Shopify. So then I pay back my artist Dizzy Arnold for hiring Ruvian to do our colors for our mainstream color, and it's like $700 and something, whatever, and the advertising is $1,000 and $500 for the Shopify, and then there's like some super chats and stuff that you bought to hopefully get a little bit of eyes in a couple chat rooms that like you frequent or whatever, and you add up all that stuff, and like you pay each other back, and then you go, all right, how economically do we want to print this book, or do we have a store now? So like we're probably going to print the full numbers that we said we would sell, and then we can continue to sell them, because I really believe in like limited quantity if it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, even up to like 1,000 or whatever, like that's not a lot. The reason why the comic books of old are worth as much as they are is like 1,000 and down is how many exist in
Right.
various quality, because they've been like thrown away. So I mean, if you're really keeping something beneath 1,000, that's really kind of like the roof, I think, of like maybe of feeling like it's generally hard to find,
True.
especially if it's good. And that's the thing for me. I'm like, I my company likes to say we make boutique music and comic books, and for me, that's about the high end books that represent the medium at the highest level. And for me, this is an adult medium that is universal and works for kids, but works for everybody. And we've been shortchanging it for forever because it's kids stuff, but really it's a unlimited budget medium where the reader controls the experience in a way that's much better than a book, because picture's worth 1,000 words. So you can shock yourself with the turn page, and when the writers and the artists are aware of this medium that we're in, and do it well, it's such an engaging place to be. It can just take you to worlds and explore so many different types of ideas that can really make people think the right things and grow souls and raise people's vibrations. And I really believe that the people who are drawn to this stuff are good guys who want to see the world be better, who are interested in ideas, who are idealists. And I hate what's happened in the past, like, it's like 6 years, been vicious.
If not like 10 to 15, yeah.
Yeah, but the demonization of the fans, which I call bullshit. What it really is they're not as smart as we are. And they were like, we can't fight with them, so we'll just say they suck. And it's really aggravating because, when you're a consumer of the arts, on this level, you can't lie to me about how good the Star Wars franchise is doing, or how well fans are responding to your new Star Trek. I know,
Right.
And I know in a really practical way. I like to use the metaphor of, if you're a toy guy, you understand the market better than anyone because you don't want to pay the most, like, for the toy. You want to pay as little as you have to. So you learn the market in a way where when the thing comes out, you go, is this the best price I'm going to pay? Or is this going to sit on the shelf and I can fucking buy this 8 months from now? I'll get this fucking 50% off. Yeah, fuck this toy. Nobody's going to buy this. I know the market, right?
Yeah.
Or you go, I better fucking get this. It's Dragon Man. They barely put it out. I'm like fuck, I should buy 5. This thing's gonna be worth $1,000 in a few years. You know, and the people who think like that, like, I'm not a collectible minded person in comics or in toys. I open my toys. I don't really worry too much about my comics. I made a decision when my kids were born that I cared more about them having comics in their hands and and toys in their hands than I cared about them messing up my shit.
Right.
So I think that's really, as a purist of the art form, like, I think it's all like the most wonderful thing,
These things are like comics and toys, like they're like, comics are meant to be read, toys were meant to be played with. Now I do understand, like, I'm both. I'm a collector and also a devourer of these things. So like, I'll get a classical key issue, but I can go pick up the trade and just eat it all up. You know what I mean? But I'm double dipping at that point, so I'm enjoying the content, at least that I'm getting.
Well,
So
I'm coming to appreciate that too. My kids have really put a highlight on that. They've come to love Funko Pops, which I really don't love Funko Pops.
Oh my gosh, that market.
I got a couple, but
Well,
I get it.
It's just
everywhere.
Well, yeah, they are, and I just don't love the aesthetic of them. But my kids, really have drawn to them because basically my dad got a Funko Pop made of him, and he got access to the Funko Pop store. And every year, since my divorce, I do this thing called like games, junk, and prizes. And the first year we did games, junk, and prizes, my parents had sent like this big Funko Pop thing, and I said, "Hey, you mind if I use all these Funko Pops that you gave as the prizes, and I can, say to the kids, prizes provided by Grandma and Grandpa." That like started a fandom of Funko Pops in the house, and everybody's got like a little something, and like even my oldest daughter, Logan Lane, she's got a Harley Quinn collection, and everybody. And at Christmas, the little kids, they'll be looking for, Harley Quinn Funko Pops that she's. Yeah, it's really cute. And then my son Cassidy West, he had some flashes, and he used to have more, but he got rid of like some of his thing. He had like a Thanos collection, and I think he's down to just like a few of his favorites. But then my son Grayson, who's very much like me, he'll take we take the fandom, and then we take it to an unhealthy place. His fucking room is just covered in Funko Pops, and largely Batman. He's Grayson Wayne. Batman and Nightwing and Batman related characters. And, he's still so young relatively. He doesn't even know, he doesn't know what movie it's from or what thing it's from. He says Batman things. Batman.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, Batman. I like it. Yeah.
And I'm like a purist. I'm sitting there. I'm like, do you know what this is?
Well, that comes later. Like,
Peter had a point. When everything is a collectible, then nothing is. The only reason toys go up in value 30 years later is because those who played with them want to collect a piece of their childhood.
Well, and not only, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, and then Scarlet Fever says, which I totally kind of agree with. She's not good at collecting stuff because it gets ripped out of the package as soon as I pay for it. Or I try to keep it in the package, and then I dent the package, and then like I feel like it goes down in value.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like people, like as a kid, like you got your Transformers, you got Bumblebee, you got Optimus. You'd open them up, you play with them, Voltron, you play with them. But then when you get older, you're like, you still have them, but they're all damaged and bent up. So you're like, man, I kind of want them in pristine shape. I like them. And then you end up.
Story about this?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
This is funny. I haven't thought about this in a long time, but at Christmas, I remember, you know, and again, I'm a purist, so I was almost insulted by this present. But my parents had like wasted a lot of money buying me the overkill that had the handwritten price tag on the thing. It was worth like $600 at the time or whatever. And then another one that I really liked, actually, I really wanted to take out of the fucking box. He was just this deep blue version of Spawn.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It just looked. I love colors. Like I like seriously. I like surround myself by colors, like as color therapy for myself. And comic books. I think I was drawn to that art because like colors comfort me. And with the toys, like I always look for just like things that really pop. And oh my god, this Spawn popped so much. And then they explained to me that like this is worth $500. This is worth $600. And like they're really hard to find. And like like you're not allowed to open these. And granted, I had an overkill, so I was like, all right, well, it would have been nice to have 2 overkills, but I guess I'll keep that in the package. And then I had a regular Spawn, but I really liked the fucking Spawn in this thing, and like I was getting like the attitude from my parents that I would be disrespecting them if I were to open up this toy and play with it as if it was just one of my other toys, even though that's very much what I wanted to do. And so I had these things like on my desk, hanging on my wall. I'm trying to keep them pristine, but they keep like dropping and I end up getting so much fucking anxiety from these damn toys because I'm trying to keep them nice, and like and quickly I'm like, they're not worth fucking $500 anymore. I've not done the thing. I've dented the front corner. I've knocked out
right.
Strip of plastic that's broken away. One of the things popped out from the inside. And at a certain point, I just opened.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, but it was funny because for a long time I just had so much freaking anxiety about the thing, and I still did. And like I would like hide it from my parents. Like I like hid it somewhere eventually at some point. I remember going, what happened? Oh, I put them somewhere. Keep it safe.
That is a good way to give your children anxiety early on in life. Like, I bought you this, but you can't touch it. Like, wait, what? I'm 6. I want to play with. Like you're gonna have problems later in life.
It's like 6th grade or 7th grade, but I was a toy guy. I was, and like that was my hobby.
So is that what came first? Was the toys or the comics? Like, what was like got you into the whole thing?
Honestly, toys is my biggest
gateway.
My biggest gateway. Yeah, because from a young age, I was just I would say He-Man was huge. I love Masters of the Universe. Those designs were just so evocative, and they were such so many archetypes that it really was provocative. It's like when you see a Beast Man, you wonder what all the other Beast Men look like. See a bee man, you wonder what the other bee men look like, or the other insect men look like. It was one of those franchises that sort of like reeked of possibility. And it's so funny because they don't understand what they have, so they've never been able to really translate it very well across mediums. Because it stands like the weakest aspect of the thing. He's just sort of like the riding animal, the vehicle for you to enter this world. And they haven't really understood like what people were finding most appealing. Case in point, their movie. Let's bring him to Earth. No, man, like fucking, we don't like He-Man. We like the world he lives in. The world he lives in.
Exactly. Yeah.
We want to ride around on that fucking tiger with him and stab people who deserve it. That is appealing. And and I really keyed to that. And then adjacent to these toys, my father was really big into comic books. Not as big as I would become, but he got me a subscription before I was ready to read. I used to over focus, and I would like kind of like my eyes would tear up and I would cry from reading books. So it took me a while, but I got really into Savage Dragon, and that kind of got me into comics. And then when I was working at 7-Eleven as like a 16-year-old, I read Deadpool because I heard it was funny. And then Deadpool, you know, they started advertising to me. And the guy who wrote Deadpool, Joe Kelly, who I really liked, he was writing some X-Men stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll read what he's writing over there. And he had written more than that, than the advertised that I'd seen. So I went back and I read some more things and, you know, just started exploring. And then I had a really good friend of mine who got me to Batman. And then that was it. I was like, you know, fucking all over the place. And then when he decided I was going to be a writer, because I was an artist when I was younger, and I had a really shitty teacher and just kind of also had some kind of back problems that were keeping me from perfection. I'm a fucking Virgo in 6 houses, if you can translate it that way. And I'm like super perfectionist. And I kind of switched into computer art, which is serving me very well now, doing all these fucking Kickstarters. You know, I do all the graphic design, you know.
Oh, nice.
A couple of friends of mine occasionally, but largely I do all of my shit now. You know, and then I went into writing. And because I read comic books the most, I decided to make that my thing. And then I started studying the medium, and I just read everything. Anything that like was, this is classic, this is important. You know, like I would just ask people, like, you know, who are old fans, like, what's a big deal? You know, like I want to, like, you know, I want to read those things. And like when anything new would be collected, I was reading like 300 individual comics a month. I mean, some of them collected form, but like I had counted at some point at like my zenith, because I was very, it drives me crazy now because I was really well regimented in my life, and I would read so much. And you know, I still read a lot and I still absorb a lot of information, but most of it I listen to a lot of things. But like, man, I used to, and it came from like school. Like school was really good for me, and like college, all that shit. Like, you know, and even every Wednesday, comics coming in, and I'd have my inbox and I had my system, and it just kind of gave me something to do that really soothed me. My biggest regret is that I stopped my hobby at a certain point. I mean, to a certain degree, I'm glad I did, because what's happened in comics during that time has really like broken my heart. So I've been glad I haven't exactly been around for it. I've just kind of read a couple things here or there, but I just had to stop for a little bit, I thought, financially. But I wish that I had just put it down to something smaller, you know, and just kept it a little bit, because it was such a good hobby for me, and it really helped me to get more done, and feel also that I was taking care of myself all the time, because I just wasn't taking care of myself in other ways. But I did take care of myself with my hobbies. So if you're out there and you're feeling pinched and you're thinking about getting rid of your hobby, you know, squeeze it down to something that seems the most manageable. Don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Hobbies are super important for your soul, you know.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, chat. Go ahead.
Regarding the action figures, Kraber Langers was curious if you ever collected the Murdoch, the Star Trek, the Next Generation figure. Ever saw that as an investment?
It's so funny. I am a huge Star Trek guy, but I hate their fucking action figures because I like to play with my toys, and they were just like the shittiest. They're like legs bowed out because they had this weird sort of like leg articulation, and they like they were very they would kind of shift like this. They were really shitty toys, and they were in a really crappy scale. And then they made other toys, which I did eventually get, but they were like an 8-inch scale where they were really tall. So like if I wanted to put Iron Man with Picard, it was like Picard's like, "Hello, little bitch." Like that was no fun. I had a Instagram, which you can find me on Instagram, like Coolest Geek JBS. And if you go deep down on my Instagram, you'll find my 6-inch city stuff, which was all me being a Nazi about scale and just, you know, really trying to, you know, have the toys representative of the world. And, you know, it's not like super high end my city backdrop, but I've been making it since I was a little kid. And I mean, I've made all sorts of little custom garbage and, you know, just things to make it real for me. And I would rearrange it, you know, constantly as just like, this was another hobby. The universe took away that hobby. I had a big fire and lost my collection twice in 2 years.
That's brutal. Yeah, that happened to Eric Larson. And you mentioned Savage
Yes.
Dragon. Larson lost a lot of stuff in the fires too. Yeah.
My idol. I like to mirror him in so many ways. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love. I've known him since I was like 16. I guess was the first year I made a bunch of money, and I took a bus to Chicago Comic Con just to harass him, basically. And that was
Yeah.
when I was just starting to read other comics, because I didn't really read anything else. I read Savage Dragon for years. Since I was like 11 or 12, I read Savage Dragon. And the biggest thing, I love talking about this because it's really true. And I mean, it's like, it's so fucking important, this aspect of it. Like, he made me love comic books because of his letters section. He would talk about just comic books in such a reverent way. And it really just made me understand so many of the wonderful things about Jack Kirby or other people. You know, he would often, like, you know, point out some problem that, you know, he saw in comic book art, you know, like, and he'd see, look, you know, you don't want this foot to look like it's this guy's neck, you know, now he's neck foot, you know. And like, I remember that being a really funny bit of, like, you know, like, this is stupid, I hate when you read a comic and this is this. But everything that he said came from a place of loving this medium, and he wanted to set a record in the medium because he loved the medium so much. He wanted to be a part of it by doing something that mattered in the medium. And that made me, you know, like, I remember, this is kind of a funny story, because the first time I did magic mushrooms, which was very, very late in my life, I never did any drugs. I was straight edge until I was 28. And I was sort of like advised by my brother that, like, I would benefit from smoking some marijuana, and it helped me relax. But when I did the mushrooms a year later, and this I did because Steve Jobs had said he never would have invented Apple computers in college or a LSD.
LSD, yeah.
Yeah, so when I read about LSD, I kept coming upon the mushrooms, and I decided the mushroom sounded similar enough, and that I was going to try that. And I had this moment where I went into my back room where I had my city, and I had Batman set up on the roof, and I didn't notice that until I I went down, like, into my, you know, drawer to get something. And when I came up upon Batman, and he's this little itty bitty 6-inch action figure, and I'm this giant man. And as I'm like coming up upon this giant man, I felt like fucking Godzilla. I'm like, there's little Batman on top of the building, and I go, hey, you're not bigger than me.
Hey.
And I realized that I had it in my mind at the time, because in my mind, I had been struggling in comics. I'd really been having more success than most people have. You know, I was able to get published at every single company. I just kept getting annoyed how long I was having to wait to get more work, and how long the process was taking. And then I would get offered other work, and I'd be like, all right, I'll go over here. All right, I'll go over here. All right, I'll go over here. You know, and I kept, you know, all my relationships were very good, and, you know, like, I'm a people person and a people pleaser, and I like to just do really good work. And, you know, whatever it is that, like, I'm given, I just try to, like, learn from, like, well, how do I get around that next time? You know, because there's a lot of things that can fuck up your work in the mainstream, from licensing notes, and, you know, editors don't really understand, or editors just dropping balls, and, you know, like, you try to, like, learn to make it easy on everybody so things get out right way.
Yeah, but that's where you go into crowdfunding. That's where you go into, hey, I'll just do it myself. I'm my own boss. I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. So, like, when I saw that, I realized that I had like convinced myself, kind of like Eric Larson, that he needed to write 1,000 issues or whatever. But I had convinced myself that I needed to write, like, the definitive Batman story, a definitive Batman story, something that was fucking meaningful, because that was ultimately, like, the metric for demonstrating your worth in the medium. If I could show people how well I know how to play that fucking song, you know, I will, you know, I'll do something. Meanwhile, you know, I was doing, you know, showing people how well I could play other songs, and trying to. I mean, I had a lot of really great pitches that, fucking, like, you know, languished at Marvel and DC, just because, not that they weren't great ideas, but just because the system just kind of strangles things, unfortunately. And you know, so it was very disappointing and frustrating for me. You know, I was like going through my fucking bio the other day to you know, for something. I had to send it out, and I hadn't looked at it in a long time, and I was realizing how sour I can be, because the amount of proof that I've been able to put out in the world. And if you're out there and you're like feel like you're being smothered on some levels, this system fucking does that, man. And don't let it trick you into thinking that your shit isn't just as worthwhile as the other people, because it's advertising and like getting the word out about things. And if you don't use the system, it takes a fucking minute to really figure out how to like get a grip of something else. And my first Kickstarter, we raised like $5 or $6, I guess like $6,000, but like almost $3,000 was from one friend of mine.
Oh wow.
Kicked ass and was like, get it growing, Jesse. But like we had a small fucking pot of people. Our second Kickstarter, we made 12,000, and that one friend of mine didn't but he had helped me with some advertising money at the beginning. So and so many people, it's like we're not doing this alone, and we really need help, because it's super fucking hard, just to get it going in any meaningful way, so that you can like survive on it, because it's just such a tumultuous money out, money in, and not really knowing where you're at with it. So it's like a big leap of faith, and I like everybody who's fucking doing it. Like, hats off to you.
It's very scary, very intimidating at first, especially like if it's your first go at it, and you just like you have everything ready. You think you have your campaign built. But the second you hit that launch button, you just like, man, I just hope it funds for one. I want it to fund. And not only that, like you said, you got to hit it's work, because you got to hit the ground level. You got to get on streams. You got to get on Twitter or Facebook, advertise, Google. Yeah, it's and not only that, you got to hope that it's good. Like, I mean, I think what we do is good. Your products are pretty dope, but do other people think so? And I told my friend this actually when we were hanging out. I'm like, we do this mainly for us. We just hope you like it. Like, that's really what it is.
There's definitely a thing. It's weird. When I came to understand you can't judge a book by its cover thing, I really took that to heart. I didn't like that people were going around doing this. And I sort of made a really serious curve in my mind at the time that everything that I did, I wanted it to work against this notion. I have tattoos because, it's a challenge. Do you not like people with tattoos? Well, you're going to love me, and I'm awesome. And, fuck your requisite of tattoo people suck. And, and you don't like Satanists? Well, maybe I am one. I respect all of their beliefs, and I've read all of their Bibles, and I understand where everybody's coming from, and I'll defend everybody. This idea, all of these ideas, they lead to war and civil war and the demonization of people. And it's really, we're just a bunch of schmucks being played by people at the top. And I don't appreciate that. And, I have a show called Everything They Don't Want You to Know, which just started to come out on the podcast Playground. And I've talked about, I didn't believe this bullshit until I was invited to play an Illuminati party. And, very casually by my friend, who was a drummer, whose dad was this really big producer, a Hollywood producer, and his uncle, these warring producers from the 70s. It was so funny. He was just sort of like, you gotta play one of the Illuminati parties. Man, they would love you. Yeah, man. I mean, like, one of these guys bring it. And then like my ears just sort of went, so that is true? What the fuck? Fuck. Am I really that naive that I've read this much, and I know this many things, and I've heard this many people say that it's going to be fucking said casually to me? And then I was like, oh fuck. And then I started getting all these anonymous, like, not anonymous, but like I didn't know the people, though. One of the guys, I had seen him, and it was creepy. they reached out to me online, and their whole profiles were all these like kind of Freemason flags and things, and it was everything I ever wanted: fame, fortune, just like like when the fucking dude shows up with the giant check at your house, but like in like a little message form connected to this little Freemason profile, and I just politely ignored all this shit. But this was when I knew, and it all comes down to that. The system likes when you judge a book by its cover.
Mhm.
So my art has always been to wave my dick in the face of the thing that you have said is sacred, and have you say it's okay, I liked it, because it's only that thing when look, a completely innocent person just made an erotic comic book. A completely innocent person just really took a jab at Christianity and all religion in his fucking King of Kings. That was the previous book that we had done. I did these things because it needed to be done, and I didn't want it to be done by some hateful person with some ideology about the thing. I wanted to go in there innocently, sweetly, and go, hey, let's make fucking fun of this until we learn something. And that's really the thing, when it comes to comedy, when it comes to drama, anything, everything we're poking at a thing until we learn something is generally the bit. And if you just make somebody sort of struggle on screen long enough, you can get any audience to follow along with you. But if you can make your character struggle on screen in a meaningful way where the audience may learn something, that's the other side. So for me, I'm just always trying to like take that thing that we don't really want to look at and go, but wait, look at it like this. It's okay. Don't feel bad about it. It's fun. Right. If you're innocent about it, innocence is innocence. Like it doesn't, not everything is sacred in the way that you imagine.
Well, I think that's good. I think you can have any idea, any belief structure, and be like, well, what if? And still not like that is what I believe. I do believe in this, but I'm just going to look at it at a different angle and make a story about it. Like it doesn't define who you are because the story is out there. What defines who you are is your character. Like I hang out with plenty of people who I disagree with musically, I disagree with artistically, I disagree with on so many other. I don't get into politics at all on my channel because I keep it out. I just like to keep this about like comics and pop culture and like that kind of cool stuff. But I still disagree with people politically. Guess what? We're still friends. We're still friends. You can be friends with people that you don't agree with because they're good people. Like they're just.
I got into a conversation last night with a friend, and at some point he literally went, "Disney, I don't want to talk about this." And then he said a couple more things, and I said, "Well, I'd actually really be interested to hear your perspective, man." And he went, "Well, this is my perspective." And and I said, I knew you were off base when you said, we can't talk about this. I'm like me and you, I know we get along so well. We're on the same page. Sometimes language separates us the way somebody's talking about something. I remember I was triggering my friggin' father like crazy. He was like calling me like a fucking Republican sympathizer or some shit. And I'm like, I was trying to bring like some measure to some of the things that he was saying, because he doesn't know, and a lot of people don't know. The news has fucking lost its mind. They are literally not reporting the same stories anymore. Yeah. They're refusing to report on certain things on the one network and refusing to report on like it used to be they'd report about the same stories differently. Now they are literally just like memory holding shit. Like, nah, that didn't happen. Nah.
The whole thing comes into a problem is whenever it's an argument instead of a discussion. Like that's the whole thing. I will discuss with anybody anything if it's a discussion, because with a discussion you're more open to being like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I get it. It makes sense now. Like, or hey, I just don't see it. That's fine. Let's go get some burgers. Like you can still get along with it. Once it becomes an argument, though, you're attacking each other, you're insulting each other, you're like disowning families and friends. It's like it's against the grain and it doesn't flow. And it's just like with comics. Like I work with my colorist, he's my friend, Ink Spots on Frog G. We work well together. We don't, because we discuss the things. We don't argue, hey, he should be doing this at this point. No, screw you, he should be doing. We discuss it rather than just throw words around and argue about things. And I think that's what makes a great comic also, and a great movie, a great song, like, is that flow of energy.
Well, to go along with what you're saying before I add something else. You know, that's the rules of improv. You know, it's like yes and yes,
Yes,
and.
yep, yep.
And another really good, you know, for the writers out there, this is some of the most brilliant advice you can get. You know, Trey Parker, Matt Stone from South Park. You know, they'll talk about their scenes aren't connected by this happens and then this happens. It's this happens and so this happens.
Yep,
That's true.
This happens.
Yeah.
So you know, everything organic storytelling is really natural. You know, so much of what you see on TV and so much of the writing, it's really inflated. You know, you talk about like decompressed storytelling, like, you know, made famous by Brian Michael Bendis, who I was a big fan of his, and then at a certain point he really did start to become an interesting caricature of himself, as happens with some of these writers, you know. But so much respect for so many of his works. I'm a huge fan of his, actually. If you guys have never read Torso, fucking killer. Black and white, him, Mark Andreyko. It's like in Untouchables meets fucking Seven.
Oh,
Fucking,
cool.
yeah,
Nice.
it's really, really rad. It's one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. I always love to recommend that one to people because it's fucking awesome. Yeah, it was really good, and I think Bendis drew it. It's like not very well drawn, but it's good enough. And, you know, it's no. I mean, like, I'm not like disrespecting him. Like,
No, it's I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, he was a writer going. I'm going to do it. I don't know if he's got a whole bunch of those black and white ones, Goldfish and Jinx, and they're all very good. But Torso that he wrote with Mark Andreyko is really great. I really like Mark Andreyko's stuff.
So, no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was trying to remember the other thing that I wanted to say.
Well,
I forgot. They'll come back to me.
It'll come back to you. So whenever you're writing, like, how do you approach a thing? Like, do you just sit down at your computer and start, fisting until something comes out? Do you like go for a jog? Like, what is the beginning of your writing process?
Well, I'm very. My process has changed a lot as I became like spiritual, and I sort of started to realize that my intuition was where all my good ideas were coming from. You know, and really, I can break this down into, I think, a language everybody can understand. You know, whatever you believe. Like, you know, when you lose your keys and you're fucking trying to find them, for some reason you don't. But then all of a sudden, you either remember, all of a sudden you find them, and that is the intuition thing. And that bit is where the good ideas come from, and where you get into that flow state. You know, if you're an athlete, you know, you're climbing a mountain and you don't have any ropes on you. You know, these guys are getting into like a deep state of, you know, sort of unconsciousness that is sort of putting them at rest and opening themselves up to channel energy and ideas and to really flow, because it really is like, you know, putting energy through you and feeling the emotion of a scene and feeling the emotion of what these characters would feel. Because what you basically do is, you know, I'm big on architecture, and I used to be a huge, you know, outliner when I was younger. Now I write channeled, but still my channeling, I'm waiting for the right ideas, and then when the right ideas come, generally speaking, you can build on top of that really fast. You know, you'll feel like, ooh, this, and if I did this and this and this and this and that, and that's, go fucking sit down and write all that shit down. But always sort of set yourself up as the things come in, and you go, all right, cool. I'm not gonna like search for this, but I know that I need to figure out a good angle to this. Like right now, I've got like 4 pages from my artist, one of my best friends, Steve Kurth, and we're trying to use them for an anthology so we can put out 11 other pages that we finished, that we own, that we'd love to publish, but we need like 11 more pages. So I've got like this bit where, because he was just doing like a thing with Woody Harrelson and Donald Glover as Carnage and Prowler, but he's like tweak this. And there's a moment, because he wanted to show Donald Glover, that his helmet gets knocked off. And I said, is there some sort of funny story? Because I'm like trying to come up with something. And I'm like, is there some sort of funny story in like, he's the Justice League's Batman, and they're being accused of racism, and he's black, but he wears a mask and nobody knows he's black. And they want him to like reveal himself to be black, but he's unwilling to reveal himself to be black. And now like they're paying this villain to knock his helmet off to maybe get a picture of him, you know, of him with his mask off. So now he's got to go chase down some person who's got a picture with his mask off or whatever, like finding the next story. So I'm like trying to, take something that was just a little battle into something and turn it into something that might be interesting. But that's like the you got to wait for that. Like I called my friend, and sometimes to spark things, you call a friend, you talk to a friend.
Mhm.
You go on the phone with a friend. That's the time when you get some inspiration. You go in the shower, you get some inspiration. I mean, people understand these things, but they don't like give enough credit to them to like really like be living more intuitively. So as I started meditating and sort of trying to quiet my mind and trying to not be somebody who is overthinking, because I don't necessarily, well, to a certain degree, if you can't do the intuitive thing, well, then you do got to do what I was doing, which was over analyzing and chopping things up. And I got very good though at doing a running outline. And a running outline means I don't care about my fucking punctuation. I don't care about my fucking anything, the spelling, whatever. I'm just getting the fucking
Going ham. Yeah.
in order, and then like
Yeah.
just in proper order, and then no, I'm gonna put that here, and then I'm gonna put that there, that there. So now, generally, I just kind of get in front of the thing once I am feeling like I know what I want to put down, and because my intuition is so open, I don't have to necessarily like sit there and be like writing. I just have to like see. Ooh, I'm see it in my mind. I know that okay, this will be really funny. Okay, great. And then I sit down, and then my brain is really trained for the medium. Just page turns. Double. You basically have so many shapes to work with, right? You got a double splash page, a single splash page, a double splash page where you cut it in the middle, and then various versions chopping up these things and turning the page. So, I've done a lot of comedy and a lot of horror, and if you want horror or comedy to land, everything's got to be splash page, and you really just don't want to give things away. You really want to make people go, ah.
You got to take advantage of the page turn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned biggest from Eric Larson. I mean, you read the first fucking 75 issues of Savage Dragon, and his half issue, and his first little 3-issue miniseries, all that shit. Like, everything ends on a great fucking last page and tons of great page turns. Like, he's really just phenomenal at that. So I feel like that Larson was my sensei, and like, as a writer, and I really just learned a lot from him. And his style's a bit different nowadays, but I still think he has a lot to offer. But those early issues, he was just really.
Yeah, those first 50, 75, yeah, they're pretty dope. I like those ones.
Dark Lord, he changed his universe, and then he started having to do all this plot exposition, and he was doing like a Jack Kirby riff, and the whole thing kind of came off the rails. I got back on reading it a little while back, and I still enjoy it. I love him, but those early issues, like, they were my inspiration for everything, and I really like, I stand by, like, I recommend everybody go read them. And
Yeah, I like those.
Eric inspired not just me, Robert Kirkman. I've known Robert Kirkman since I was like 16, and he was, I don't know, probably like 19 or something like that, because he was doing Battle Pope, and I was just like coming up. I mean, my first little preview, I hired Chris Cross to do a 6-page thing for a book called Reckless, and I hired Nate Lovett to do another 6 pages of another one called Dodge the Death Ray, and I was giving those out to editors, to get work. I've been doing publishing since like a really long time, but for me, the barrier has always been advertising. I wrote
without a doubt, yeah.
did a big tweet on Twitter or whatever, like a long one yesterday, but just like, if I knew that this was going to be my life, I probably would have done something different. I hate promoting myself. I don't like it at all. I think it's something very, my pure nature on like the art form is like, I'm supposed to put the thing forth, and then if the world validates the thing, then yay, I have done good work. Like, it's not supposed to be going, I've done good work. Like, and I found myself having to do that completely. Like, I'm sure some people out there think I'm like a blowhard, because I say, my shit's good, and I'm not like, but I've been doing this a long time, and I care And and honestly, the things that were fucking not great about a lot of the things that I've done in the past was the system. And I think I've actually proven with everything that I've put out since, even things that I've just produced, like the Mythic Legions art book that we did for Four Horsemen Studios. We got Greg Weisman doing it, and I didn't get in his way. I helped frame that book a little bit, just for the future. It's awesome. And Blacklight District is the only perfect thing I think I've ever done in my life. It's free. You can go to www. There, three of them. blacklightdistrict.co, because I couldn't afford the M. And there's songs,
nice
comics, and there's Jason Pearson and Phil Hester with Eric Larson colors and Chris Eliopoulos letters, and J.K. Woodward fully painted one. And Chris Burnham did our cover, and he outlined the last one of the book, Bizarro. And they're all based in comic book mythology and like these really big like metaphors. And if you do it like in the dark, reading along to the lyrics while you listen to the music, it's like a psychedelic experience. It's very cool. I highly recommend it. And it's super cool. It's the basis of my company, Blacklight District Studios. And I love this medium, and I've only ever wanted to do honor to it. And it just so happens, because of the nature of this business, where good things aren't the ones that win, you can fall through the cracks if you're really honorable and you won't sell your soul.
I mean, I think as long as you do the legwork and time, I think the time is also a factor. It just is. Like, if the good things do come through, but they take longer is all. Yeah. So, and they got to find their audience, and then the audience got to spread the word, and you just got to keep hammering at it, and then like it'll prevail.
There's some people that I think have moved on. Like, I don't know what my friend Will Pfeiffer has done, but I'm suspecting he's moved on. Will Pfeiffer's so fucking talented. He had written the Sub Diego arc of Aquaman back in the day. He had done some other really good stuff. Dial H for Hero was his. It was really awesome. He was a great writer. And then they gave him this Amazon's Attack book that was editorial mandated so much of the story. And he was basically blamed so much by the audience for the story. And then the editorial didn't use him because they thought, well, people don't like him now because he wrote Amazon's Attack. And I was trying to get him work. He's so fucking talented. There's another dude, Keith Champagne. Keith Champagne wrote a 2-issue Green Lantern Corps thing. I have really good taste. So I was able to read his 2 issues of this fucking thing and go, holy shit, this guy's fucking great. And I interact with him sometimes too, because I think he's so fucking talented. I want to hire him one day when I have the chance, because I think he's really great. And I've gone on to read some other things that he's worked on because I really like his stuff. And I'm somebody who follows people. But those people, like Will, I think Keith is working on it and trying to like build up some steam and get some audience and all these stuff. But Will, I don't know what Will's doing right now. And
I mean, sometimes it does beat them down, and they just like, I can't do it anymore. It's not an easy medium to work in. Yeah, it's not easy at all, and to stick with it is tough.
What I'm really saying is, I think just some people don't really have these tools in them, and when the whole world for them changes of how they have to do their art, they kind of shrink and have to go somewhere else. And that's been, like, to a certain degree, like that was me. Like, I disappeared from social media for a little while. I kind of like somebody's calling me out. Like, I'm not a lot of social media follower. I'm like, well, I haven't been playing any of the games, and I just came back 6 months ago or whatever, because I left because everybody was just fucking fighting all the time, and I felt I was getting sucked into it. So I did like this delete, and they were like, "Do you want to delete this permanently?" And I was like, "Yes," I ran away for like 4 years, and I just didn't.
Like Henry Rollins says, just disconnect myself. Sometimes you got to unplug and just go away and just let it just recharge your own batteries and and then coming back and realize, okay, I could ignore that. I'm going to tap into that and use it to your advantage.
I've come back with a different attitude. My attitude now is I'm going to bring things to people from the outside of this world. It's because you go into Twitter and you just see the conversations and shit. I just go, fuck this. And I share my Instagram feed. And my Instagram feed's filled with health shit and
nice.
How to really, take care of yourself in this way or that way, or this person suffering from that, or good stories I things that make me feel uplifted, and share things from my YouTube, the channels that I like, and that's a big one too. Like when I go onto Twitter now, I try to go to the pages that I like. I go to my best friend's page, and I go and then I go, okay, I'll share this, then I go to some other, this is my guy who owns Podcast Playground. What is he sharing? Let me share one of his things, and just like, because like that is so helpful to your friends. And if you really want your community to matter, that's like a lot of people, I think, are very like shy about helping each other. And, it's a thing about when you're not really sure about what your contribution is. I'm really sure about my contribution, and I'm really happy to help other people to make contributions as well, because I love this medium. And the wonderful thing about comics is like, there's so many fucking artists who I didn't think that much of. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, like, this is my new favorite. What the hell? What is he drinking? Is he on steroids? How did this happen? Like, it's just, I love to encourage, people. But at the same time, being real, people have to, like, the mainstream audience is being filled by politickers, people who are really good at getting themselves out there in the right way for this moment, where they're willing to sell themselves on their identity. If I wanted to, I could have, came out as non-binary very fucking fast. I am. And it's really like, I was never fucking associated, like, for myself, like, with men. Like, I was kind of just like observing that. But I can't say necessarily like women either. I always felt like an abstract, and like, I remember when I read the X thing, like, I'm an X, and I was like, I feel like an X. It seems I shouldn't tell people that I feel like an X. But sure, but I don't want to get fucking hired because of that, and I don't really like the box, and I don't really think it's descriptive enough. And I think the whole reason why everybody's like quadrupling the fucking the pronouns is because the best pronoun for you is your fucking name, man. Like, everybody is an individual. And like this idea, like, we're all going to have our own little sexual box. I don't like the freaking non-binary thing, even though it's pretty close to an accurate description of myself, as I came up in the world. And I've always been very, pro LGBT, because I felt that I am one, like, I like women who are really tough. My women are beautiful, but like, I'm a handsome man, but like, it was a little bit of something that like I learned to be. And but I'm very soft. I'm a creative person, and I like to run around my house with my limp wrists and be very happy, because I'm not, which is a different energy. But when I go out into the world and I have to go through conventions and stuff, I'm a man, and on stage when I perform with my band, I'm a man. I'm like USA. I'm a man.
To me, it's all about the quality of the product and not the person who really puts it out in a way. Like it's meritocracy. Is the writing great? Is the art great? Is everything hitting on all cylinders? That's what matters. That's what gets you the job. That's what gets you sales. That's what people should be looking at in the long run anyway.
And this is why I really I'm like sort of fed up with the system. Because like Marjorie Liu and there's another lady who I really fucking liked her stuff. Marjorie Liu and she has a similar name to Marjorie. But they're really great. When like the pendulum flipped and like things turned, I was like, well, at least she'll be getting some fucking work now, because that bitch is brilliant. And she didn't. She didn't get any more work. And I was like dumbfounded. Like, she's just in the same fucking niche. Like, she didn't put her on anything important. Like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, you're trying to say that you want more diversity. You're trying to freaking put a light on somebody, and you're putting a light on some of these people who are not good writers. I'm sorry.
It should just be about that. It should just be about, are you a good writer? Are you a good artist? Yeah.
Female writers who are in comics right now who are offensive to me, who their work is fucking, you're making the women look bad. Get the fuck out of the way. There are some great women writers. I don't understand why you can't find them.
Well, you can find them. Just look at Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fund My Comic. You can find plenty of amazing, talented individuals. So
they're making it look like women are shitty writers, and that's bullshit. That's sexist. Yeah. I don't believe that, and it pisses me the fuck off. And it's just, they're not good at finding people. had some great female writers who were working at fucking, and I hate that I have to fucking say this shit. Like it's just like we are all souls embodying different bodies. Just because you got a dick, she's got a vagina, doesn't mean there's a big fucking difference between the two of you. Like this notion of these things, but there's a lot of reasons why women tend to feel less comfortable being funny than men do, and like these stereotypes start to like become the thing. But women are fucking just as capable, and they exist certainly in the quantity that they need them for fucking to fill a basketball team full of writers at Marvel. Holy shit, there's plenty if you fucking are looking, and like and there's plenty who care. But the people who do the jobs are just the wrong representation. They're people who make everybody look shitty, except for people like Christopher Priest. And you know what Christopher Priest does? When DC calls him and says, "Hey, we want you to do Cyborg," he says, "Anybody but Cyborg. I'm not going to be your token black guy." Fuck yes. Thank you, Christopher Priest. You're awesome. That is the way. And I'm not going to be their token fucking non-binary and go do all the interviews like this so everybody knows that I'm gay. And I've practiced my whole life to be a masculine man like I like to be. But like it's so funny because like for me it's it's all like theatrics and pumping your chest, and I'm an athlete, and and all the boys are just none of them want to fight. None of them want to freaking die for their freaking countries. They're everybody's blustering. The cowardly dogs bark the loudest, and it's all fucking theater. And when we start to take our fingers off the trigger and calm down about everything, that's when we can talk about stuff. That's when the art and the comedy gets good again, and that's when the diversity gets fucking real, and really great writers start fucking showing up because they're actually being sought for their talent and their intelligence, and not for the fact that they're really good salesmen of themselves or whatever else. Like fucking Tolkien probably wasn't the best salesman of himself, but he fucking wrote and thought deeply about things, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people who are thinking more deeply about anything than we are, so that we can go dive into the world that they create for us. And like that's the game. And if you can't do that, kind of get out of the way and let the people do it, because there's only so many great artists to go around who need great stories, and I want them freaking not wasting their time on you.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, that's where we go. We go to the crowdfunding. We do it ourselves. Then we're like, you know what? You don't want to hire the talent. The talent is going to do it themselves and show you up anyway. So
can I ask a question? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Angela. Ask.
I didn't. Yeah, he knows I interrupt him. How long have you been doing this? Like, how many years?
Let's see. So I'm 42. Or I'm going to be 42, and I sent my first. Well, I guess it was. Yeah, it was in high school. I sent senior year, maybe. Yeah, I guess early in my senior year, I made. I sent in the Marvel Comics submission thing. There was like an outline for like what you would submit, and I sent in the thing. Later that year, I think it would be in between college and high school, I'm thinking. I was at the Chicago Comic-Con, and I had been able to go to Wizard, because I used to read Wizard magazine religiously, and they started with his sister. And so I said something to my dad, because I was like, obviously they're fans. I was a huge fan of Wizard, so I was like, I want to go to Wizard if I go to Wizard. So we got to go get like a big tour of Wizard, and I made a whole bunch of friends there. So that was how I got into Chicago Comic-Con the first year, and then I think the second year I was invited to a party, or maybe it was the first year, and that would have been like maybe junior year I did this submission. I hooked up with Mark Sumerak, and Mark's a really good writer. He really does a real great, like all ages stuff is generally like his focus. And he's really solid, but he was an editor, like assistant editor at Marvel, and he wrote me, I don't know, like 3 to 5 pages of notes on my story. I mean, he helped me with the ending. He really gave me some perspective, great, important perspective for me. Like, I'm one of those people who's like, I don't like to be told something twice. So like, he taught me so many fundamental things about a comic book script and pitch, and otherwise that I was like set, because he was wise enough to give me a lot of wisdom in one go. And I was pretty good at what I did after just getting his notes and really taking every one of them. Like, I was scared to death by every note, seriously. And I rewrote my scripts like set them out, and he told me basically to write them out as scripts and not to do it as this other way, and to submit them as scripts. And I broke it into 2 issues, and I wrote them, and I sent them. He ended up well, I got work, but like I ended up, Axel Alonso wanted to publish these, and I kept getting kicked down the road. It was very frustrating. It was such a fucking journey. Axel Alonso read the 2 scripts. He loved them. He said they were better first drafts than most of the people who work for him. And I was just talking about this the other day. It was like so many of my stories, like it would always start off with like some really nice compliment, like, yes, I had done good work. And then I would be devastated at the actual like result. Like it would never go anywhere. And Axel Alonso ended up getting promoted a bunch of times. And he ran out of time for me basically. And that was that. I never got those Punisher scripts published. They were great. They were really cool. I mean, so much the credit belongs to Mark Sumerak. Down to the ending, which was great, and that was all because of like his inspiration. I don't remember exactly, but I remember he really I felt like guilty of how good it was, because like so much of why it was great was because he helped us see and understand better what I was doing. And that was it. I was kind of off to the races from there, because then I got Marvel Comics. Well, I started working on X-Men Unlimited pitches, but I never ended up writing those scripts because I had the editor. I'd been connected with the editor for Spider-Man Unlimited. And so I wrote a Spider-Man Unlimited where Spidey got stuck between 2 buildings that were falling down without any pants on. And J. Jonah Jameson shows up and snaps a picture, and he's like humiliated. It was pretty funny. And it was canceled before I got the script into. So I was like, that's bad. And then my friend called me up and he said they're doing Marvel Comics Presents and they're taking 8-page submissions. So I quickly got together an 8-page thing. Actually, I took like one of the best stories I'd ever written called Bottom Dollar, which was just about this guy who tried to pay for his drink with $1 that said congratulations, and all these things on it. Like it was a $20 bill. It was from his business, and he told this terrible story about just basically having to go through all this struggle, and this is all the money he has left, and he was holding on to it. But
Mark Penguin says he knew Mark Sumerak. He's a great dude. We shop at the same comic shop, and he used to run a comic club. I was in that and met a library and met at the library once a month. So that's cool.
I like Sumerak.
What's up, Penguin, by the way?
I really like I feel like I owe Sumerak for my career. He was a diligent scholar as a writer, as an editor, and was able to really give me great notes that were super meaningful and showed me the way forward, across the board. Like it was life-changing, the notes that I got from him. Like really, like I grew as a writer more from his help than any other interaction with anybody else, except for when my brother Shane tried to devastate me with notes. I don't know what I did, but he was mad at me, and he literally like set out to break my heart with his notes for King of Kings #1. And me and Mark Polton went in, did the hard work, and we fucking reversed all his notes. And when I sent him the script back, he literally went, "Dude, this is great. You fixed all the stuff that I was complaining about. Like legit. Like I'd rather see it when it's done." Which was a little bit of a cop-out, Shane. If you listen to this, Shane,
that's what brothers are for.
Really good. Honestly, like if he didn't mean me harm, like the notes were vicious, but like he really like.
Sometimes brutal honesty is needed.
Yeah, it is. Like you learn the most from those moments. So I mean, like that was another time where I was like, "Fuck, like this is rough," but like he's right about these things. Let's fix this, because he was a real comedy guy, and we were doing comedy stuff, and he was a comedy guy, a lot of rules. And I think, he was like, Jesse's pretty confident in what he does. I think he needs an awakening about these things, And he was right, because we were like taking a couple of shortcuts, because there was a couple of things that were just a little hard to work out, or seemed a little hard to work out. And we put in the time to work them out, and really like, got there. But, that was still the early days of my work. And, it wasn't long after this that, I really kind of got into another kind of level. But Can we make can we wrap up our conversation?
Yeah, man. We're at the we're going about an
Yeah,
hour
we
here.
did a whole lot, and there lots
I-
also a lot of.
I gotta eat dinner soon.
There's a lot of writers in the chat too that were just kind of reacting and responding
you're good.
to what you're saying. So yeah, no, I'm just saying that a lot of people were definitely enjoying the conversation.
Before we wrap up, is there any last questions, Angela, from you or the chat?
I don't see any questions.
I have one last question for you, sir. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy. Teleportation or like super flight, because my babies are in New York and the woman I love is in California. So it'd be great to just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth whenever I wanted to. And then it'd be so easy to see all my friends. I always feel like I don't have enough time with all my friends. That's why I try to work with all the people I love, because it's just like that's my love language. I pull you into what I'm doing, so you're forced to spend more time with me, and I get to love you.
Yep. I hear that, man. I hear that. Well, thank you very much for doing this, man. This was fun. I had a good time. Like and subscribe, everybody. Your Spotify, I have linked down there in the description below.
Oh yeah, you can check out my band, DILF USA. We have a whole bunch of really funny videos that me and my girl made that are super awesome. And if you check out, it's like DILF USA Band on a bunch of different platforms. You'll find us, but we're on YouTube, and like you play our playlist. Really funny stuff. Nice. And we're going to be touring and going around. So follow DILF, and then if you go to BLDSTS.com. That's the Blacklight District Studios website, and you can sign up for notifications for all the books and all the stuff that's going to be coming out. That's really the best way to follow us and the best way to honor me, because it makes my life really easy if you guys just sign up for notifications, and like, you know, when we put the things out there and we say, hey, we got some books and stuff, you can find them. But we've got some back issues of King of Kings, and we will have some back issues of Fucking for Our Future. I think we're actually going to be doing like a really cool statue thing for the Bossy One power armor that is the main character, like the Fucking for Our Future comic, with my buddy Digger, who's for the creator of Art Asylum. He and I have become really great friends, and we're working on a bunch of stuff together, and we're talking about doing a really interesting marquee, perhaps with exploding boobies, because our rule with all of this stuff is that it has to be funny. You know, it's not really an erotic book, it's a comedy.
It doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah, so but like, because we have all sorts of sexy posing covers or whatever, but every one of them there's a joke built in, you know, because it's much more than that. You know, for me, I think heavy metal died a long time ago, but the type of ideas that existed in heavy metal need to live on. And you know, I did a story in Softwood with Steve Kurth called Food Fight, and that thing was, you know, a anthropomorphic animals in a civil war with carnivores versus the vegans, and you know, that's the type of concepts, high concept ideas and interesting sci-fi things, you know, that should be happening in independent world of comics. And I want to fucking lead the way, man. You know, and with a bright torch of what this shit should look like and how it should be done. I know how to make comics. I've been publishing my own shit since I was 18 or 19. I think I did the thing with Criss Cross. So like, you know, and I was a journalist, you know, at my newspaper, you know, doing an 8-page pullout every week. And we did a bunch of books, and then I got a divorce, and I had 2 fires, and I lost my big job that I had at the time. And, you know, all the things that, you know, was carrying everything just kind of fell apart on me. But, you know, as Mr. T says, in order to have a comeback, you must have a setback.
There you go. That's a great way to end it. That's a great way to end it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like and subscribe. Follow everybody's stuff. And have a great one, everybody. See you later.
Later.